I am Dina, also known as Borreall, and welcome on my channel. If you're new, I am an artist that has been drawing for over 8 years for now, and I've seen and done a lot of stuff throughout the years, so I know stuff and yeah. I want to say sorry for my absence in these 3 weeks. I know I said that I will try to post every Saturday, but my university life started because I am a university student, and university just came into my life like this, and we've been struck with a lot of projects, a lot of homeworks to do, stuff to do, and it's kind of tiring, and it's kind of a new thing for me too, so yeah, it's a lot to gather information, to pay staff, tuition, so yeah, that's a reason why I haven't posted. Plus I had like a story time. I didn't forget about that. In the makings, I already recorded my voice that it's telling basically the story, but I have to do like the video it's rolling in the background while I'm saying the story, because I can't put like just my voice and a black screen, even though it sounds better, but I have to do like a video, like a speed paint or something. I have to think about that, so yeah, I really have to think about that, and mainly that's a reason why also I haven't posted either on YouTube. That, and also again, and besides the story time, I didn't know what to post, and some days ago this idea struck to me that I can make book reviews to to tell you about my preference in books, and I can guide you to what to read, because maybe you don't have ideas what to read, so maybe I can give you ideas of something new to read, and this makes me pleasure to give people an idea on what to read and basically what to do. So as you may have read in the title, in this book review with Dina, we will talk about Dear Evan Hansen, the novel. For the not knowers, Dear Evan Hansen is also a Broadway musical that was Tony awarded in 2017, which is an amazing thing. Tony Awards are a type of awards that are given to Broadway musicals that are very liked by people, and they are categorized by a lot of stuff. So there isn't only the best musical, there are also like best actor, best female actor, best soundtrack, best costumes, best designs, and like at Oscar basically, but it's for the musicals and mainly plays. Anyway, and Dear Evan Hansen is a musical that came to my attention in 2018 in November, and from then on I started really getting a liking in it. And in 2019 I said that I really want the book, because I got to know that the original director that directed the musical also made a book, which I bought, and I will tell you my review and what I liked, what I didn't like, and if I recommend it. So you may ask, from where do I buy the book and how much does it cost? Well, for me it costs like 90 RON, that it's around $13 I think, so, or maybe more. I found on the cover of the book recently, and I have this book, as I said, since 2019, and now it's 2021, almost 2022 actually, and I haven't seen that on the cover, on the sideways, something like that, it says the price. I bought it from Book Express, which is a site from where you can buy books at a very low cost. Hashtag not sponsored, hashtag not sponsored, but I would like to be sponsored. Anyway, don't mind that. Anyway, I bought it from Book Express, as I said, and it came very quickly, actually, in like 2 weeks, and it came from UK. You can't find it anywhere else besides UK because the editor that published the book, the publisher of the book, it's called the Penguin Books, and they are only in UK from what I saw. You can also have the option to choose from paperback and hardback. From my perspective, I think the hardback is better because you can have it more time, while the paperback may be a bit, I don't know, you can just simply scratch it very easily. I don't know, that's just a preference. You can choose whatever you like. The hardback was a bit expensive because, you know, I don't know why, but it was a bit expensive. But the quality is what it is. Now how the book looks like and my review on it. I will give it from 1 star to 5 stars, not like a mark from 1 to 10, simply from 1 star to 5 stars. So this is the book as you can see. It's written by Steven Levinson with Val Emich, with Benj Pasek and Justin Paul. I'm sorry if I pronounce those names wrong. Benj Pasek and Justin Paul are the people that made the soundtrack, the original soundtrack of the original musical and The Greatest Showman, the movie, which is, let me tell you, a piece of art. I recommend watching it. It's also a musical, but it's also a movie. You have to know it about it, so go watch it because it's amazing and it deserves it. My review for Dear Evan Hansen, the novel, it's 4.5 out of 5 stars. So we meet with this boy named Evan Hansen because this is the book. What is it about in the book? It's about this boy Evan Hansen who is in his senior year. He's 17 years old and he has social anxiety at the point that he sweats and has a lot of panic attacks, and his mother doesn't know anymore what to do. And in his summer vacation he got like a part-time job at an orchard because he also likes trees very much. But there happened an accident and he broke his arm, and he starts his year with a broken arm. And then we continue with at school, where he tries to get along between a lot of people, and then he just goes at the computer class. He starts writing letters to himself, a thing his psychiatric told him to do, maybe to feel more relieved because he takes all the attention and puts it on the paper. And in that moment, Connor Murphy, a character that is omnipresent in the book, comes in the lab. It's kind of mad because he got spoiler anger issues, what the fuck. And basically he meets with Evan. He has a small conversation with him. He asks Evan if he broke his arm because he sees his cast, and he asks if nobody signed his cast, and Evan says that yeah, nobody signed his cast, and Connor decides to sign it for him. And in that moment, the letter Evan wrote to himself gets printed out, and Connor decides to take it out for him. But a little misunderstood happens because Connor sees his sister named Zoe in that paper because, spoiler again, Evan has a little big crush on her. So Connor gets this idea that he accepted to be his friend only to be around Zoe. He gets mad and then he just rushes out of the computer lab with Eva's letter. Anyway, the day comes and goes, and then I think 1 week later, I can't remember exactly, Connor is found dead. I don't know if I remember correctly, but I think it was a park bench. He is found dead with Evan's letter in his hand. And Connor's parents, here comes Connor's parents, Cynthia and Larry, think that Evan is his friend because because Connor had the letter from Evan, and you know that Connor actually wrote it to Evan, not Evan. You know, it was a big misunderstood, and Evan, because he saw that Connor's parents were in big grief and he wanted to fit in, he went along and played it that yeah, he was Connor's best friend. So after a while, Connor's parents invite Evan to their dinner, over the dinner, and while Evan was there, he starts talking about like how he and Connor were quote-unquote friends, and his parents were actually amazed because, as I said, Connor had anger issues and he didn't really talk much. He often yelled with his parents, he wouldn't talk with them, and you know. And basically Evan starts to talk about, because I can't remember if Cynthia, Larry or Zoe points out to his cast. Evan just starts talking about how he and Connor were in the summer at the orchard he worked at, and they were having such a good time and stuff like that. And then Evan broke his arm and Connor helped him, which is totally false because Evan was alone when this happened. So he just introduced Connor in the real story to make it that he was friends with Connor and he helped him, what great friends and stuff like that, you know. While they were at it, Cynthia wanted to see more of Connor's emails and even just freaks out and asks for his friend's Jared help because he was like an ITist kind of stuff and knew how to fake emails. And he gathered Jared and they started faking emails from Connor to Evan, and there is this connotation that, and the thing in the fandom, that Connor and Evan were actually together, and you know that stuff, you know. Yeah. After they sent the emails to Cynthia, Cynthia is very happy to know that his son had actually a friend and he wasn't like very lonely or whatever. And she tries to proceed to show her family that Connor was actually not understood artist, you know, that type of thing. And she actually tries to show Zoe because she was still in denial about her brothers and, you know, know that, and they had like a mini fight and whatever. The next day or some days later, Evan comes at their home because this thing was actually a regular thing from now on. And basically, Evan goes to Zoe's room. Zoe tells that Connor used to be an amazing brother, an amazing big brother to her, and she doesn't know where these things started falling apart. And Evan just stays there, and he tells her, actually confesses to her, but like in a mode that Connor actually said those things about her, that he actually still liked Zoe as a sister, you know, that he loved her endlessly and stuff like that, but was actually a facade for Evan to just show his feelings to Zoe, and they just kiss. And Zoe rejects him because it was very sudden. And yeah, and then at the school, Evan, or Alana, an acquaintance of Evan and Jared, basically comes with the idea of the Connor project. It's a project that helps people actually that went through a death to just cope with it better and better, and not mourn in silence, and to know that you are not alone. And this thing is my favorite part of like the plot of the story, not only in the book but also in the musical. And then Evan has like a speech about this, about how you are not alone, and that Connor was actually not understood, and he was an amazing man, and people just started loving him for that. And at that point, Evan started fitting in, and he started getting more and more with Connor's family, more, and he stopped hanging out with his friends because he had work to do. And also, a thing I forgot to mention is that he and Zoe became a couple after Zoe saw that thing, and he saw that Evan was a good man, and whatever. And his mom started worrying about her son because he was staying more at the Murphy's house rather at his own house. And and at one point, Jared confronts him. He says that he can just ruin everything he did, because he and Alana were the only ones that knew that all the Murphy thing was actually a lie. And and his mother started telling him that she was a single mother, and she tried everything she could for his life to be better, but she sees that her efforts were in vain. And Evan starts to feel a bit of remorse because he started ignoring the people that were actually close to him, and he just didn't knew. And he just knew that he had to came up to the Murphys and to tell the truth. So he goes to the Murphys' house. While he was invited, I think, I can't remember exactly, but he brought his mom too, and he just starts to speak about that all of this was a lie. The Murphys were a bit shocked, and Evan knew that all of this thing had no, I don't know how to pronounce it. He did this only to fit in, he tells that. And Cynthia just breaks down. Zoe is very mad, and I think they broke up too. And Larry, I think he's the only one happy. I don't know, I can't remember. But I think he's also disappointed in this thing because he had like this little bit of hope that Connor wasn't really alone. And this thing was also cut off. And then he started saying sorry to everyone he lied, especially Jared and Alana. And then he just, after he finished senior year, he took his year to get a job again at the orchard he worked at. Because I forgot to say another important thing. It's that Evan's university tuition was about to be paid by Larry and Cynthia because Evan was such a close friend to Connor, and you know this thing was cut off, of course, because that's what Evan did was a big lie, and you know he also broke the lines with the Murphy family for like a year. So yeah, and he started to focus on his job and his mental health, and at the end of the story we are seen with an Evan that is finally with his soul at peace. He doesn't have a big social anxiety anymore, and basically he is happy. He found his eternal happiness. And then it's shown that Zoe also is finally at peace with this thing. Jared is also at peace, Alana is at peace, Evan's mother is at peace, even Larry and Cynthia are at peace, and even Connor's soul is shown to be at peace, because at the end it's shown that a new tree where Evan broke his arm, to say like this, was planted, and it's shown that rebirth can happen and everyone can be at peace. And that's basically the main plot of the story. Because we're talking about the book, we're going to start with the book and make differences between the book and the musical. There are two main things that are shown different in the book and the musical, and that is the presence of a new character called Miguel that was shown to be like Connor's kind of boyfriend, if you take it like that, and he was the only person that was there for Connor. Also the ending, because Miguel's presence is in the book, also the ending it's a bit different, because in the musical Evan and all the characters are gathering up at the orchard at the newly planted tree there, while in the book there is only Zoe and Evan there that are presented, and Evan just tells Zoe to go and contact Miguel to tell him about Connor, because they had, like, Miguel and Connor had an argument and they separated paths. And yeah, that's the thing that from my own point of view made the musical and the novel a bit different, and a thing that I didn't really liked. Miguel's presence wasn't very much there, but from my own perspective I liked the musical's ending more rather than the book's one, because there are the characters shown, all the characters that are finally at peace with this thing that they forgave what happened in the past, and they went up with their lives and they started rebirthing, to say like that, from their griefs and whatever. While in the book it's just shown that Zoe is, or Evan more to say, is getting over his crush on Zoe, and he tells her as a friend or whatever to tell Miguel all about Connor, and that's all. It didn't really spark to me this idea of the ending. It felt empty, if you know what I mean. That was the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe with bell to receive a notification whenever I post, because I don't know either when I post anymore because of the university, usually on Saturday, but I can't promise. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok because I'm more active there. Yeah, that was all. Thanks for watching and see you at the next video. Goodbye!